All right, so number 1 on the homework. First thing you want to look at is the denominator. So in this one, there's actually 2 parts in the denominator. There's the x and there's the x minus 6. Okay, so all real numbers except for the easy one, it can't be 6. But then this one, it also can't be 0 because what would make x be 0 is 0. Okay, POD is the same exact thing, 6 and 0. Now this one we can cancel out, which simplifies to 1 over x minus 6. Okay, so we had something in the denominator that was removed and something that was not removed, so it's going to be both. Okay, there's going to be a vertical asymptote at 6 and a whole at 0. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually, not yet. I'm going to do the x-intercept first. Okay, x-intercept, you set the numerator equal to 0. 1 equals 0. That is not true, so the x-intercept is going to be none. Y-intercept, I plug in 0 for x, so 1 over 0 minus 6, so that's just going to be 0, negative 1 over 6. And I already gave you the horizontal asymptotes at y equals 0. All right, so now the first thing I want to do, now I'm ready, is to graph the vertical asymptote, which is at 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's my vertical asymptote. Okay, I don't have an x-intercept. My y-intercept's at negative 1, 6, which is just really close to 0. And then my horizontal asymptote's at y equals 0. So here's where you all get stuck. Now what you need to do is, if there's a vertical asymptote, you need to pick points to the left and right of the vertical asymptote. So I'm going to pick points. So I'm going to pick, to the left would be 5, 4, and 3. And to the right would be 7, 8, 9. So I'm going to plug those into 1 over x minus 6. Anywhere you see an x, plug in those numbers. So when I plugged in 5, I got negative 1. When I plugged in 4, I got negative 1/2. And when I plugged in 3, I got negative 1/3. When I plugged in 7, I got 1, 8, 1/2, 9, 1/3. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and plot those points. Okay, and then I'm going to connect my lines, connect all my points, make sure I don't hit any of the asymptotes. Okay, and even on this left side over here, we already had this point at 0, so I almost didn't even need to plug in 3. Now the last step that you're all going to forget is that 0 that we crossed out in the beginning is going to be a whole. So where x is 0, there's actually going to be a whole. Okay? Because we really shouldn't have even plugged in 0 here because we learned that you couldn't use x as 0. But that's all right. Just know that there's going to be a whole right there. Okay? So that's the graph for number 1.